Welcome to the deep dive. Every spring, that question starts popping up again. Who's actually open when?
Right, especially around holidays.
Exactly. So today, we're zeroing in on Easter Sunday 2025. That's April 20th, by the way, and exploring the fascinating world of retail hours.
It really is surprisingly complex when you dig into it.
We've gathered some reports, looked into how different stores handle this holiday, paying special attention to the big one, Walmart, and seeing how they stack up.
And our goal isn't just a list, right? It's not just open-closed.
No, not at all. We want to really get into the why behind these choices. What drives them? And what does it tell us about, shopping habits and maybe even business priorities?
Precisely. It's like this big puzzle. You've got culture, customer needs, practical business stuff all mixed together.
So we're going beyond just the surface info today.
Yeah, trying to uncover some of those less obvious bits about holiday hours.
Okay, let's kick things off with Walmart. They've got this reputation, don't they, for being accessible, pretty much always open.
They definitely do. That's kind of their brand.
So how does that general philosophy play out when it comes to Easter Sunday?
Well, Walmart's overall holiday strategy really leans heavily on customer convenience. I mean, they aim to keep the doors open most holidays through the year.
Most, but not all.
Right. The big exceptions most people know are Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. They do typically close then.
Okay, so given that standard approach, what's the usual deal for Easter Sunday?
Generally speaking, Walmart stores, and that includes the big supercenters, are usually open on Easter Sunday.
Ah, so they stick to the plan.
Yeah, it lines up perfectly with their core strategy. Be accessible. It really reinforces that image, the reliable place no matter the day.
That makes total sense, positioning themselves as the constant. But are there wrinkles, any nuances or exceptions we should know about?
Oh, absolutely. While the big picture is Walmart's open, it's like super important to remember that specific store hours can definitely vary.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, it can be down to local factors. Things like local town rules or ordinances might play a part.
Ah, like blue laws or something.
Sometimes, yeah. Or it
Yeah.
could just be expected customer traffic in that specific area. Staffing is always a factor too.
Right. Gotta have people to run the store.
Exactly. And even the store format, like its size or type, can influence the hours. So the big takeaway really is always check your specific local Walmart's hours before you head out.
Don't just assume.
Definitely don't assume based on the general policy.
That's a really practical point. You don't want to get caught out needing, I don't know, that one last minute thing for Easter dinner.
Precisely.
What about inside the store? If the main shop floor is open, does that mean everything's running like normal? Like the pharmacy or the auto center?
Good question. And the answer is not necessarily. Even if the main store is open, people shopping, some of those in-store service departments might be on a reduced schedule.
Or closed entirely.
Or closed entirely, yes. That often happens with the pharmacy, the vision center, the auto care center, maybe the photo center. These places frequently have their own hours, separate from the main store, especially on holidays.
Interesting. So you could maybe grab some plastic eggs, but perhaps not get your oil changed.
Pretty much, yeah. It just highlights that you need a bit of planning.
So why do so many people seem to end up at Walmart on Easter Sunday? What are they buying?
Well, for a lot of folks, it's the go-to for those critical last-minute grocery items.
Yeah.
For the big Easter meal.
That one ingredient you forgot. Happens to the best of us.
Totally. Or maybe you realize you're short on candy for the Easter baskets, or need one more little gift.
Ah, the basket fillers.
Yep. And then for some people, it's just regular household stuff. Life doesn't totally stop for the holiday, right? Need milk, need diapers.
True. The everyday needs persist.
Yeah.
So flipping it around, from Walmart's side, what's the main reason they decide to stay open?
It probably boils down to a few key things strategically. First, like we said, meeting that customer demand that's clearly there.
Makes sense.
If people need stuff, being open lets Walmart capture those sales. Simple as that. Second, it's about maximizing revenue. It's still a shopping day, even if it's different from the pre-holiday rush.
Right.
And finally, it just reinforces their whole brand promise. We're reliable, we're accessible, even on Easter.
It's a calculation, though, isn't it? Staying open means needing staff. How do big places like Walmart handle staffing on a holiday?
Yeah, that's definitely a logistical challenge. I mean, to get people to work on a holiday, companies often offer incentives.
Like extra pay.
Yeah, holiday pay is common. Or maybe options for more flexible scheduling around the holiday. It's this constant balancing act, between making sure there's enough staff for good customer service and respecting that employees probably want to be with their families.
So they're weighing the extra labor costs against the expected sales?
Exactly. It's a numbers game, but also a people game.
Okay, let's widen the lens a bit. How does Walmart's usually open approach compare to other big grocery chains? What are the competitors doing?
It's interesting. When you look across the grocery sector, you see a real mix of strategies. Some are similar to Walmart, others quite different.
Like Kroger.
Right. Kroger and its various brands, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, King Soopers, they generally follow a similar path to Walmart on Easter Sunday.
Meaning they tend to be open.
Tend to be open, yes.
Yeah.
And this is the crucial bit. Again, just like Walmart, specific store hours can absolutely vary locally.
So check local listings is the mantra.
Always. Their strategy also seems focused on that continuous customer access.
Okay, so Walmart and Kroger, generally open, but check locally. What about a big regional player like Publix? They have a very strong following.
Publix is a great example of a different approach.
Yeah.
They often choose to close their stores completely on Easter Sunday.
Oh, completely closed.
Frequently, yes. And that decision really speaks volumes about their company culture. It highlights a strong emphasis on letting employees have that time with their families.
That's a stark contrast to Walmart and Kroger.
It is. And while it might mean missing out on Easter Sunday sales directly, it can build really strong employee loyalty. And that, can pay off in the long run with better service, which is its own competitive advantage.
That's a fascinating point about different ways to compete. Does Publix closing actually shift where people shop that day? Do the open stores get busier?
It seems highly likely, yeah. I mean, if a major store like Publix is closed, shoppers who normally go there still need groceries.
Right, if they need something that day.
Exactly. So they have to find an alternative. That could definitely mean more foot traffic for the Walmarts and Krogers in areas where Publix is big. It's like a ripple effect.
Makes sense. What about Trader Joe's, kind of a unique specialty grocer? What's their Easter strategy?
Trader Joe's is more of a mixed bag. You'll find some stores open on Easter, others might be closed, or maybe just have limited hours.
Less consistent.
Yeah. It often seems to vary by region, and maybe even down to individual store managers making calls. It's not quite the same top-down policy you see elsewhere.
Okay. And Whole Foods Market, catering to maybe a slightly different crowd?
Whole Foods usually stays open on Easter Sunday. But again, it's pretty common for them to have modified or reduced hours.
Ah, so open, but maybe not all day.
Right. It lets their customers, who might be looking for specific things for their Easter meal, still get in, but probably gives some employees part of the day off, too.
And what about the discount grocers, like Aldi?
Aldi's policy can also vary quite a bit. Some Aldi stores might be open, others closed.
Again, depends on the location.
Seems like it. Their decisions probably depend on, local demand and what competitors nearby are doing. So again, you absolutely have to check your local Aldi's hours.
Okay, so across groceries, it's really a spectrum. From mostly open to variable hours to mostly closed, even store-by-store decisions. Let's pivot to other big box stores, the ones not primarily focused on groceries. Target, for instance.
Target often closes its stores completely on Easter Sunday.
Oh, like Publix.
Yeah, it aligns more with that philosophy of prioritizing employee time off on major holidays. You can see it as a bit of a brand statement, too, emphasizing work-life balance.
Interesting. And the warehouse clubs. Costco.
Costco has a very consistent record. They typically close their warehouses on Easter Sunday.
Okay, closed.
And what's really fascinating is that Sam's Club, which of course is owned by Walmart, also usually closes on Easter Sunday.
Wait, really? Walmart stores are open, but their own Sam's Club is closed.
Typically, yes. It creates this interesting contrast within the same parent company.
Why do you think that is?
It might reflect different target customers, maybe different shopping patterns expected on Easter itself between a general supercenter and a membership warehouse. Maybe bulk buying isn't as big on Easter Sunday itself.
That is fascinating. Okay, what about the home improvement giants?
Well,
Home Depot, Lowe's. Spring's a big time for DIY.
Right. Home Depot and Lowe's might have varied hours, maybe limited hours on Easter Sunday.
So maybe not fully closed.
Possibly not fully closed. They know spring is prime time for projects, so they might open for part of the day to capture that demand. Yeah. But it's usually not their normal full operating schedule.
Okay, covered groceries, big box, home improvement. What about other types of retail people might need? Pharmacies, say CVS or Walgreens.
Pharmacies generally stay open on Easter Sunday. though it's very common for them to have reduced hours.
Why open at all?
Well, it's about the essential nature of needing medication, right? Access to prescriptions or other health items doesn't really take a holiday. People might have urgent needs.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, eating out. Restaurants. Open or closed on Easter?
Many restaurants do open on Easter Sunday. It's a big day for families eating out.
Yeah, Easter brunch or dinner.
Exactly. But you guessed it, individual restaurant hours can vary a lot. And making reservations is almost always a very, very good idea if you plan to eat out.
Don't just show up expecting a table.
Probably not wise, no. And even fast food places like McDonald's or coffee shops like Starbucks, their hours will likely differ depending on the specific location.
Right. And shopping malls, department stores inside them.
Malls and department stores are often varied. Some might close entirely on Easter Sunday, others might have reduced hours. It can depend a lot on local traditions and how much foot traffic they expect.
And the stores inside the mall might have different ideas, too.
Absolutely. An individual store within a mall might have its own policy, which complicates the mall's overall hours sometimes.
Okay, last category. Other general stores, like maybe TJ Maxx, Macy's, clothing, home goods.
Stores like TJ Maxx, Macy's, and similar general merchandise or clothing retailers, they frequently close their doors on Easter Sunday.
Why is that, you think?
It's likely driven by an expectation of lower customer demand. Easter is often more focused on family time, religious activities, meals, maybe less on browsing for clothes or home decor compared to other weekends.
Okay, so we've really seen a huge range of decisions across the board. Let's try to synthesize this. What are the main things influencing these choices? Open, closed, reduced hours on Easter.
There are several really key drivers at play here. Obviously, number one is the religious and cultural meaning of Easter itself. Retailers have to think about respecting the holiday, employee desire for time off.
Versus the business side.
Right, versus customer demand and potential sales revenue. That's crucial, especially for groceries, where demand stays fairly steady.
Okay, culture demand. What else?
Then there were the operational costs. It costs more to be open on holiday if you've got holiday pay, potentially, utilities, security.
And staffing is a big piece of that operational puzzle.
A huge piece.
Hmm.
Just ensuring you have enough people willing and able to work is a major challenge. Then there's the competitive landscape.
Watching what the other guy does.
Pretty much. Do you stay open to grab customers whose usual place is closed? Or do you close because your main competitors are closing?
Any legal things?
Yeah, legal and regulatory factors can still matter. Those blue laws restricting Sunday sales, while less common now, might still exist or have influence in some areas.
And finally,
It comes down to brand image and values.
huh,
What message does staying open or closed send? Is the priority customer convenience above all? Or is employee well-being a more prominent value the company wants to project?
wow. It really is a complex calculation for every single retailer. Looking forward now, are we seeing any trends? Anything shifting in how stores approach holiday hours?
Yeah, definitely some interesting things to watch. The ongoing rise of online shopping is a big one.
How does that affect physical store hours?
Well, as more people get holiday things online, maybe the pressure on physical stores to have really long holiday hours might lessen over time.
Less need for the doors to be open quite as much.
Potentially. Also, technology and automation, think self-checkouts. Maybe other automated systems down the line could impact how stores operate on holidays, maybe needing fewer staff.
Interesting. What else?
The labor market is always a factor. The cost and availability of workers will definitely continue to shape holiday staffing decisions.
Makes sense.
And we're also seeing, I think, a growing public discussion about that balanced customer needs versus employee well-being on holidays. That ethical consideration might push more retailers to rethink their policies.
So it's likely to keep evolving.
Oh, almost certainly. I expect we'll see holiday retail strategies continue to shift as retailers juggle all these different factors.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive on Easter 2025 retail hours. The main takeaway seems to be it's this really intricate dance between customer needs, looking after employees, and pure business strategy.
Yeah, and while a giant like Walmart generally leans towards being open for accessibility, you have others like Publix or Target who often signal a different priority by focusing on employee time off.
What stood out as maybe surprising or particularly revealing?
I think the differences within the same category are really telling. Grocers going in different directions, and that Walmart-Sam's Club split is fascinating. The main store's open, the warehouse club closed. It shows really specific strategic thinking for different parts of their business.
Yeah, That was a great point. It really drives home that there's no one-size-fits-all answer here. So, for everyone listening, the absolute best advice is simple, right?
Absolutely. While we can talk about the general trends, the only way to know for sure about your local store is to check their specific hours as Easter 2025 gets closer.
Don't get caught out.
Definitely check ahead.
And this whole discussion leaves us with a kind of provocative thought, doesn't it? As our shopping habits keep changing, especially with online becoming so huge, how will this tradition of retail hours on holidays continue to change in the next few years?
Yeah, and what do those changes ultimately say about us? About our society's values and priorities when it comes to convenience, tradition, and work-life balance?
Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for exploring all this with us today.